Well, I suppose I better assume everyone's there. Good morning. Welcome to our webinar on using product LCAs and EPDs to enable you to compare or replace high carbon materials. My name is Jamie Delbs. I'm the ANZ Sales Manager for One Click LCA, and I'll be giving you a bit of a run through on what we're going to be talking about today. And presenting is Troy Springthorpe, who's the Quality Control Manager from Sculptform.
Hello all.
Okay, what are we going to expect this session? Okay, a bit of a chat about what an EPD is, its relevance and its benefits and the compliance requirements, a quick overview of the EPD generator tool, and then Troy will do a deep dive into why Sculptform is using our tool and the benefits and the results that he's getting from that. Quick bit about One Click LCA. We're the leading software for construction manufacturing worldwide. Those numbers kind of speak for themselves. We can 80 standards, 200,000 plus components in our database, 20 integrations, used in over 170 countries. We have 180 employees, and we've been around for 20 years. We're an Autodesk partner and have a number of memberships, as you can see there, investors and certifications. So what is an EPD, Environmental Product Declaration? Well, I think it's probably pretty self-explanatory. It is actually a detailed description of components and products that we use within the construction and architectural industry. And that's basically giving us a very detailed analysis of what we're using. It's embodied carbon component, and an EPD has been fully certified by independent authorities, and it's a must-have for what we're doing today. So why do we need to measure it? Well, down in this neck of the woods, ANZ, we've been probably a little bit behind in terms of regulation and compliance compared to the rest of the world. But believe me, social conscience has caught up with us very, very quickly. And the questions are being asked about the suitabilities of and sustainabilities about the buildings that we're putting together these days. Hence, we need some measuring tool. That's what an EPD does. It's a little bit scary when we think about it. 57% of global carbon emissions come from construction and manufacturing. And the biggie in there is concrete, by the way. There's the numbers. 43% from other sources, 57% from construction. And that basically includes whole of life, transport, base materials, construction. So we're getting a full, complete picture of what we're doing. Why would you need an EPD? Well, basically, you need benchmarking your products and gaining a competitive advantage with mandated requirements really just around the corner. Manufacturers of the products that we use, designers, architects, constructors, engineers are going to have to use basically report and deliver a finished product telling us what their embodied carbon is going to be. And the idea is to get to that 2030, 2050, depending what country you're in, to that zero carbon output. An EPD allows you to get accreditation. It allows you to do comparisons and swap information, components in and out to optimize your design and get the best result. From a competitive point of view, as a manufacturer, you're able to then market your EPD certification. And why should you use my components? Well, this is why. We're fully compliant. We know what we have. We can tell you exactly how to use it. Regulations right across the world, pretty specific, but coming down here, we're just getting on board. EPD for Australasia, sorry. It's preferred but not mandatory, except for New South Wales. We would expect that this will become a mandatory compliance requirement within the next 2 years maximum. Here's the one that we're more concerned about for our neck of the woods, EN 15804, verified EPDs. Right, an EPD generator. It's really just a template or a life cycle assessment of the individual parts that make up individual components that are, or materials that are then used in construction. It's a pretty easy step and a pretty easy process to go through. We simply use our life cycle tool to do a full analysis of the individual component, working with the materials that we've put into that to make up that piece of concrete, obviously the concrete, the metal, the Rio, etc. We then get a draft EPD that would then be verified by an independent third party, and the measurement can be, weight, volume, whatever is relevant to what you're manufacturing. Right, that's the quick synopsis. For a more detailed run through of how this is used in the real world scenario, I'm going to hand over to Troy now, and he'll give you a run through on what they've been doing at Sculptform and how EPDs have, through One Click LCA, have benefited them.
Thanks, Jamie. Welcome all to the webinar. My name's Troy. I'm from Sculptform. I'm the quality control manager here, and we'll just run through very briefly how we're using One Click LCA, the lifecycle assessment software, to make sure we have the best optimized design and the lowest carbon in our products. So just a quick overview on Sculptform. So we are global leaders in innovative architectural solutions. So we have our main range of products, so click-on battens, click-on screens, and click-on cladding. We do projects all over the world, so you've probably seen our products in and about, especially in major cities. So our systems are unique in the fact that they're click-on, and they empower our design partners to create sculpturally distinctive spaces. We're based out of Bendigo in Victoria, but we do have a design studio in Melbourne, and we have offices in New Zealand and more recently now the USA and the UK. So the challenge for us, especially with expanding into the USA and the UK, is that more and more people want to know the carbon content of your product. Why? Mainly because over there, in Australia, we're a little bit behind, as Jamie described, but it is moving very, very fast, and we're getting questions on embodied carbon more and more often, especially this year. So the challenge for us was the embodied carbon was a requirement from our customers. They wanted to know what it was. They needed to know what it was, especially for their greens, or similar to Green Star standards, there's LEED and WELS. The entire world is moving towards becoming more sustainable. And we actually had absolutely zero idea on what the embodied carbon content of our product was probably, 12 months ago. Wasn't something that was kind of on our radar. Didn't really worry about it. And the answer to that challenge was obviously we needed to conduct a life cycle analysis, and in the end use that life cycle analysis to create environmental product declarations that our customers would then use. And input that into their building design so they can meet their required standards, and they can get the best optimized building design with the lowest carbon content possible. So how do we do that? Well, there's a couple of options. We can go to a consultant, or we can use some software like One Click LCA. We initially looked at consultants, but they were a little bit costly for us. So we started looking at what our other options were, and we stumbled across One Click LCA. So we decided to have a look into that a little bit further. So why did we end up choosing One Click LCA? Consultants are obviously expensive, and it's kind of a one-off thing. So you pay your consultant to do your EPD for you, and you've got your EPD. But we figured in doing that, the company and us ourselves weren't actually learning as much about life cycle assessments and EPDs as we could be. So we decided that it was more beneficial to do them in-house, train 1 or 2 people up internally. And then as we go and as we create new products, we can then create new designs in One Click LCA and continually assess them in detail. So as we're going through the product development stages and we're swapping materials in and out constantly, we can be doing that in One Click LCA and seeing what impact that has on the embodied carbon content. And now it's actually part of our product development process. So we put all the materials in One Click LCA, do our assessment, and if it's not where it needs to be, because we can then compare against our competitors, then we can swap materials in and out. And it's very, very easy to use. So for example, here's our aluminium click-on batten life cycle assessment. So initially, when it was originally done, as you can see, there was 507 kilos of carbon per metre squared, which is our declared unit for this one. 82.6% of that came from our raw materials. Now, we would not have known that unless we did our life cycle assessment. And then we can grab this data and we can dig a little bit deeper. So in One Click LCA, they have something called most contributing materials. And we look at that and we straight away establish that the aluminium production is the highest contributor. And then we know where we can make a relatively small cost change, but also have the highest impact on our carbon content for our product. So all we did from there was we got some low carbon aluminium. We got an EPD from our supplier. We punched that into the One Click LCA software, and the results speak for themselves. We've gone from 500 kilos down to 159. So I've gone from our aluminium production and our raw materials making up 82.6% of the total carbon embodied carbon for this product, down to 46.1% with one small change. And that's the benefit of using One Click LCA. We don't have to go and create another EPD. We can just continually keep changing the designs to optimize our product. And that's all from me. Thanks, Jamie.
Right. Thanks very much, Troy. Yeah, I'm sure you'll agree that result is pretty fantastic for someone working along and not knowing anything about their product and having no idea and doing an LCA and then all of a sudden getting that huge drop in the embodied carbon, and that can only be good for us down the track. Right. That's it basically from us. If you want to have any more information, I think there's a poll button you want to click on in there, and we will be in contact with you. Here it is. It's just come up on the screen. If you want to get a demo advice, click on the book a demo. It will probably end up coming to me, and then I will make contact with you. We can arrange a suitable time to sit down and have a more detailed chat. All right. Okay. Thank you, Troy. Thank you, everybody, for attending.
Thank you, Jamie. Thanks all.